Hello everyone. We are delighted to welcome you all to the second episode of season 4 of How You Got Placed, aka HYP. I, Kailash, will be your host for this episode. Today we have two knowledgeable guests, each with their own unique backgrounds, achievements, and accolades. Let us learn more about the extraordinary journeys of the two, Abhishek Garain sir and Himanshi Kalra ma'am. First and foremost, I would like you both to give a short introduction about yourselves so that our viewers can get to know more about our guests.
Thanks, Kailas. As Kailas told, my name is Abhishek Gaurai. I'm from final year and I'm currently interning with Intuit. Before that, I worked with HackerRank and Rakuten as intern only, and I did a couple of open source contributions in some organizations. I think that's it.
My name is Himanshi Kalra, and I'm also interning. But yeah, so I'm also contributing to open source on the side, mostly volunteering for Blender, and I'm also considering maybe applying for a mentor for GSoC this year, but it's still in progress.
My first question is to Abhishek sir. Sir, as we know, you are currently interning at Intuit and have interned at HackerRank and Rakuten in the past. You have also received an offer from Amazon Luxembourg. So please tell us about your working experience at these organizations, how you found out about these possibilities, and what the interview requirements were.
That's a lot of questions at the same point. So I will try to answer one by one. So talking about Intuit, it was an on-campus opportunity. Intuit came to our college to hire software engineer interns for 6 months. So yeah, the interview process was very much streamlined and similar to all the other organizations. There were one online assessment round and then two interview rounds, mostly covering data structures and algorithms as well as core subjects. And talking about the work experience, yeah, Intuit is one such company that has a great work-life balance and really cares about its employees. Like I had my own choice of choosing the project. My manager gave me that choice, and that's pretty much like if for everyone working at Intuit as an intern. And prior to that, if I talk about HackerRank, yeah, the work culture over there was also great. So the interview structure was really different and innovative as compared to the other companies out there. They mostly asked about open source contributions and the projects that I built, mostly about the impact that I created using my knowledge of some of the tech stacks like React and other backend services. So, yep. Talking about Amazon Luxembourg, yeah, like the international opportunities are not really that hard to crack. Like the interview process was also very similar to Amazon India. There were 3 rounds, mostly covering behavioral questions as well as data structures and algorithms. Mostly what we say as lead code, medium level questions. Yeah, that's the summary of all the.
Ma'am, you have cracked GSoC twice from the Blender organization.
Yeah.
How did you achieve this tag 2 times and that too in 2 consecutive years?
It was like a dream to like when I was still applying for colleges. This was my sorting criteria, like which institute has the maximum number of GSoC applicants. But then our institute didn't have that many at the time. But so I just looked through the organizations from the GSoC archives and found Blender, which I was already using as a user, trying my modeling and animation skills on that. And I just went through the whole their wiki page, looked at their ideas, tried to contribute, and yeah, it happened. So
And sir, you have completed your GSoC at Dial. Now, in your opinion, what is the key to being accepted into this coveted program? Also, what was your journey like through this program to get the GSoC tag?
Okay, so most of the students out there has a lot of confusion, and they'll try to think that these open source programs are something like exams similar to IIT where they compete with other students. But that's not the case. I would say there is no such thumb rule to get into these programs. It's very similar to contributing to organizations or just working as an intern over there, or maybe doing some good contributions to support the community. That's it. So I will tell you my story. I was learning Electron.js at that point in time, and I found this open source organization called Moja Global. They were trying to build some desktop app based on like their machine learning models, And I pitched my idea of using Electron.js over there, and they somehow liked the idea. So they asked me to come up with a prototype. So I built that, and as it was a new project, so there was no concept of existing pull requests or issues or something like that. Once they liked my proposal, they accepted me. But that may not be the case for someone else. Some organizations like VLC or some like MIFOS, etc. Over there, you need to complete a certain number of pull requests or maybe work on some existing issues, and then you get to submit the proposals. Other than that, your proposal will not be actually read also. So the things are completely different. It depends on the organization. And yeah, like as I said, don't try to think that this is some kind of an exam or something like that. Just enjoy the process, go with the flow, and once you like the work over in that particular organization, you will be accustomed to it, and maybe if things work out, you can easily get into these programs. Not only GSoC, there are many other programs like MLH or LFX, other things. So it doesn't matter if you do not get into GSoC, no problem. You can try to get into these programs, the other programs on the similar organization only.
That's quite insightful.
Yes,
Now,
I agree with Abhishek here. Like instead of saying that cracking GSoC, it would be if you can say like just applying GSoC, because there's nothing really to crack. You just have to be in communication with the organization so that they know that you are working hard and you're putting your effort. And then it also depends how far, like how long you have been contributing. But if you really have a really good idea and have not really contributed that much, they are still gonna consider your proposal and can get accepted.
ma'am, you have also worked as a content writer intern at prominent companies like Gradeup. Even Geeks-For-Geeks has also published many of your articles. How did you manage to juggle coding and academics at the same time?
Academics were the classes. You have to go like from 9 a.m. to till 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. And coding was like your own thing. So you have to find the time to make applications, or like I wouldn't say I coded like I did, but like you have to find your time. Like for a week, I woke up every day, and like no, for a month, I woke up every day at 6 a.m. Did a coding question like on HackerRank, and then went to the sports complex to play badminton. So you have to find your routine, and then yeah, there were classes. And sometimes like I was like there's Saturday and Sunday, you can sit in the LRC of our college and yeah, work on whatever you like. So you have to find the time, the balance.
All right. Sir, you have secured notable ranks in many hackathons, including Microsoft's Imagine Cup, Smart India Hackathon, and Google's Build for India. What was your strategy in this contest, and how did you tackle the competition over there?
Well, hackathons are a real picture of what you do in the software engineering companies. Mostly like in our internships, we get around 2 weeks to build a particular feature. That is one sprint to build a feature. But in hackathon, you get only 24 hours to build a complete platform. So it's like working at 100x efficiency. So that gives a reality check of how much efficient you are in building a particular software, coming out like thinking of a particular project or particular platform, and then converting that idea to a particular solution that can be presented to the judges in 24 hours. So it's a complete different experience from normal day-to-day software engineering stuffs. So for example, like when I participated in my first hackathon, before that I usually like slept around like 12 or 1 a.m. in the night, and then woke up at 7 or 8 in the morning. It was a very healthy lifestyle, I would say. But when I attended my first hackathon, it was like I did complete like 20 hours of coding without sleep, and that was a complete different experience. You just go to the coffee machine and then work for complete 20 hours. Your friends are also there, so that's a complete different experience, I would say. And there are many advantages of participating in these hackathons. The most biggest the advantage is like you get to network with a lot of innovative folks over there. Some of them are maybe working at big companies, or maybe working with these open source organizations, or maybe volunteering some of these open source initiatives. That really helps a lot to network with them. For example, I got Qualcomm's referral in my fourth year from a person who was my first hackathons judge. So I just introduced myself on LinkedIn that yeah, you were my judge, you liked our project, and that's it. And he gave me easily a referral. So yeah, as and when you participate in these hackathons, your network increases a lot, and on top of that, you get a lot of goodies and stuff. So that's something that's loved by every software engineer. So yeah, and uh, for this things like Smart India Hackathon, or for the Build for Digital India, or for Microsoft Imagine Cup, they're like, it helps you give a lot of weight in your resume, because when you go to interviews, these things are sometimes discussed, at how did you actually manage to build this particular platform in just 24 hours and all. Suppose like few of my friends got interviews at Microsoft through this Imagine Cup stuffs in their resume. That adds a lot of weight to it.
Okay, so that's really great to know. And so you have also worked as the event manager at the College Fest. You were also the open source coordinator in Google Developer Student Club of our institute. How did participating in these extracurricular activities benefit you in the interview preparation?
Well, I would say not all of the stuffs directly impact your interviews. They help you to build the ground of the base of your personality. For example, when you manage something, or something like college fests, your managerial skills or the soft skills improves a lot. Like I was somewhere managing around 100 to 200 folk crowd during the events. So that gave me a lot of confidence that yeah, whenever, if any tough situation comes, not only during like technical difficulties, but also like day-to-day difficulties, I can easily manage them. So that helped me a lot to improve my speaking skills, managing crowd, managerial skills, etc. And talking about interviews, there is a section in the resume called events that I managed, or something like that. So I usually put two things, like the open source head of DSC IIITM, and the fest management stuff. So sometimes interviewers, like in the last 5 minutes, they ask me about what was the stuff that you did. Sometimes in behavioral questions, they ask me about how did you manage those particular things at the same time while managing your studies, all these things. So it actually helps you put a big picture of you are not really hooked up to your laptop, but also you are participating in day-to-day activities, and that makes you much more improved in your interpersonal skills. You easily get to interact with a lot of stuff, people and all.
That was really insightful. Now, I'd like to ask some general questions to both of you. How essential are academics, and what role does CGPA play in general? Like, how can one retain a decent CGPA while learning and exploring all the different fields?
I think Himanshi can take that.
Sure. You like for maintaining the CGPA, you need to focus on the academics. Like as I mentioned before, you need to create a balance. And like most college student knows what the balance is, like studying the night or the day before the exam, or the major and minors. Also, but if you just pay attention in the like college lectures, it also helps. So you just have to just go through the notes at the last moment to get a grip of that. And for exploring different things, there is a lot of time if you really try to find it. Like all of the things, like you can try courses from Coursera or stuff, or other learning platforms. And then if you have a habit of say for college lectures, you go from like 9 a.m. till 4 p.m., then you can yourself enforce upon yourself that okay, now at 4 to 5 I'll listen to this Coursera lecture, the field you are interested in, for example machine learning, web development, Android. So it's like creating your own schedule for that.
I would like to add one small thing to what Himanshi said. So it's like when you maintain a good CGPA, something like around 8, or I think above 7.5 is something which every student should target. And if it's greater than 8, I think that's enough for getting into these companies, because few companies put a bar on the CGPA, like Nutanix or maybe Uber, etc. So what I think is, when like most of the college students, we don't really like the subjects that are actually taught in college. It's like there is this electronic stuffs and all those things that are not really useful in any part of your career. So, and this is actually known by the recruiters also. So when you maintain a good CGPA, it gives an impact, or gives a signal to the recruiter that this particular student who is not really interested in the courses that are not required, then also they are getting a good grades during the exams. So for example, if any time in the company you are provided with a task that you are not really interested with, you can easily get it done maybe in some considerable amount of time, and that's what the company needs. So provided a situation where you are not really interested, you can easily get it done uh, quickly, and that shows your grit and patience and efficiency in real life. So I think that's something that recruiters try to look into, and it's something kind of like maintaining a good CGPA helps you in the last round of the interview. Suppose multiple students are shortlisted for the final round and they have only 2 slots maybe. So the ones with the highest CGPA, maybe like all the students have the similar technical skills. So CGPA will then play an important factor.
Here, I would like to disagree with Garain. Like,
Okay.
this won't be the deciding factor, unlike J, like the rank and the age and marks in mathematics. This won't be the deciding factor. Your skill set would overweigh the CGPA. Like, I myself am not a big fan of the companies which look at CGPA. So, like, and the culture is changing. Like, the culture is changing. People are being more accepting and removing the CGPA bar. So, like, yeah, if there are two people shortlisted and one has a higher CGPA, if I were a recruiter, I will choose the person with a higher skill set, or just a breadth of knowledge.
All right. Now, apart from coding and academics, how do you visualize your 4-year journey? How did you start out as a fresher, and what has changed about you before you were successfully placed at your respective companies?
I think our college has a very diverse culture. Folks from all over the country come to our college. There is no particular home state quota or something like that in our college. And that helped me a lot to improve my interpersonal skills. I got to interact with a lot of folks who are outside my state. I mean, I have a handful of friends who are from my state, but I have a lot of friends who are from UP or from the south or from Delhi, etc., etc. So yeah, that helped me a lot to know about their culture. So yeah, and also it helped me becoming a successful person. Like when I came to college, I didn't knew anything about coding and stuffs. I took a lot of help from my friends, and yeah, friends are really helpful in that matter also, and made some really good friends, participated in a lot of hackathons, made a lot of memories inside and outside of college also. And I think, yeah, I have a lot of stuff that I can carry forward in my next part of life. So yeah, it helped me a lot.
Yeah, adding on to Abhishek's, the journey has been, yeah, right. It would be different for every individual. For me, it was like, yeah, it was like a dream college because of the greenery and the lush and the sports complex. Rest shall not be said. And so you look at yourself in first year, and if you look at yourself now, you see, of course, you see the growth in yourself as a person, but also you gain, as Garain mentioned, that you also gain a lot of friends. You become mature, and yes, your interpersonal skills grow. Like you know how to interact with different cultures and try to be more accepting and inclusive of everyone. So also, you try the new cuisine of our college mess, like which I really like, because it's a mix of both North Indian and South Indian. So it's like, yeah, having a whole round of like what life would be in this 4-year span. Like it's a snapshot of your whole life, but in a shorter span. So like this is gonna extrapolate over the next years.
Now, how far do you think Triple ITM has come as an institute since you guys joined, and where do you see Triple ITM in the next 5 years?
Well, I would like to tell one more story over here that I can recall from my first year days in 2017. So when I joined college, I could only see that there were few handful of folks who were like wearing geeky t-shirts like from CodeChef or HackerRank or from some other hackathons. fast forward to 5 years, like I can say everyone of my batch has one full wardrobe of geeky t-shirts and all those stuffs. Like they have participated in hackathons multiple times, did internships multiple times, and all those things. So yeah, the culture has improved a lot. During that time, it was very rare to see that someone from our college is working at Google or Facebook or some other companies. It was a dream for many of us that if we get Google, it will be a very big thing. If we get Amazon, it will be a very big thing. Again, fast forward to fifth year, like we have multiple seniors from our immediate senior batch who are working with Google or Amazon, Uber, and all top companies. We have batchmates who will be joining Google very soon, and we have also juniors who will be joining Meta and Google, etc., etc. Did all great achievements, like participated in multiple programs, open source programs, as well as mentorship programs. And I think this particular thing signifies a lot that our culture improved a lot during this span of 4 or 5 years. In this, and students took a lot of initiative to actually improve this. For example, like we hosted multiple hackathons or coding contests that helped a lot of our juniors, I guess. Our seniors also did the same thing, and that also benefited a lot of us. So yeah, the culture has improved by leaps and bounds, and I hope this culture will stay. Like your batch will have much more flourishing achievements when we will be working as seniors. Maybe we will love this thing to see.
Yeah, totally agree with Abhishek. And Abhishek also played a pivotal role in why everyone has a lot of t-shirts. So it's like he kind of started it and everybody kind of followed him. So he said like he had a Google Home and a Google t-shirt, and then suddenly like he snapped, like, and the entire college had this. Like everybody had a Google Home and everybody had a Google t-shirt. That's, I think, another story you can catch up with Abhishek on. And the culture has certainly grown, and also like it was a good culture in the beginning as well. The initiatives by ASF and Uthaan, like the two main college clubs. Of course there is Rotaract, and there's also SGM, but these are the two main clubs, and it was nice seeing how our seniors put effort into teaching us, and like we kind of following suit and helping our juniors. So that college culture is also nice, and it has certainly grown with, of course, you guys are providing examples here, so you're part of it, Uthaan.
The answers were really interesting and insightful, and for that we would like to genuinely thank both of you for your time. We wish you both a great and prosperous future. With that, the episode comes to an end. We hope the viewers got their answers. We'll see you all in the next episode, where we'll be back with new tips, experiences, and new placement stories. Thank you, everyone.